Hey guys, so some of you might know that I really enjoy these Schroth Quick Fit harnesses that I have in my BMW F31 wagon for the track, and that's because they just do such a good job of keeping me in place in the seat. A lot of times, with the regular 3-point belt, if you go into a heavy braking section or something, you need to use your left foot against a dead pedal to push yourself up and brace yourself against the seat. And a lot of times we also unconsciously use our hands and arms to push back on the steering wheel. And what that can do is that can induce a little bit of instability, like I'm showing here, causing the car to squirm around as we're going into these heavy braking zones. So the reason why I love these belts so much is, the lap belt firmly cinches me down and keeps me pressed up down here back against the seat, and the shoulder belts as well keep me nice and secure. So the more stable and stationary we are in the seat, the more we can use our hands and arms and feet to control the car and nothing else. So that said, one of the things that these Schroth Quick Fit harnesses require is they require a pass-through between the back of the seat and the headrest so that you can channel the belts through there. And what this pass-through does is it keeps it so that the belts are right up against your neck, and prevents the belts from slipping off the seat in the event of an accident or something. Some vehicles, like the BMW F80 series, have an integrated headrest to the seat, which would force you to route the Quick Fit harness belts like so, which makes it much wider distance apart between the belts, and they're not going to be able to work as designed to really hold you in there as well and secure you in event of an unfortunate accident. You can see that when the belts are routed around the headrest like this, there's a lot more room between where the belt is in my neck versus, when it's routed properly, they sit right up against it and really secure me. When it sits more outboard on the shoulder, in the event of a collision, there's a possibility the belt can slip off because we know that this backrest is going to move fore and aft a little bit. So that's why this isn't such a great idea. So what options do you have if you can't fit a Quick Fit or other type of harness in your car? Well, you need something that works with the existing 3-point. And in front of you, I have a number of devices that do work with the existing 3-point harness. The one at the bottom, this has been the go-to for a while for folks in the autocross, HPDE, motorsports area, and that is the CG lock. But the unfortunate thing is this is now a discontinued product. They're really difficult to find, and if you can find them, you'll pay over $100 each for one of them. The top 3 devices are things that I found on Amazon as seatbelt tensioning devices, and compared to the $100+ you'll pay for a CG lock, I think each one of these was less than $10 for the entire package of each of them. 2 of them are made by this company called Shunwei, and this other one is just seatbeltextenderpros.com. So let's take a look at how all of these devices operate and compare, and then we'll toss them in the car and see how well they stack up against the CG lock. So let's first talk about how the CG lock works. The CG lock has this bottom part here that clamps onto the main belt buckle, and from there you can see that this belt goes against this tensioning device, and when we move the lever back, you can see that tensioning device, it pulls away from the belt, and when we release it, it goes against the belt. So with the belt up against the tensioning device, we can go ahead and take this plate that slides onto these ears over here, and then we'll loosen the tensioning device, slide the plate all the way down, and then now what that lever and that roller is doing is it's pushing the belt up against this outer plate. And when that tension is set, you can see I can't pull this belt through. But if I push the lever, then I can slide this buckle assembly up and down the belt as normal. So release the lever, the tension's set, I can't move this. Press the lever to allow the belt to move up and down. So the first CG lock alternative device I want to look at is the seatbeltextenderpros.com seatbelt tensioner. And this guy is all plastic, and the way it works is you slide these 2 pieces apart, and then you put the bottom part on one side of the belt, and then you slide it back together. And what this does is, you can see that it's got this red part with the slider. And what this slider does is, there's a ramp or internal taper inside. So as you can see, as I slide from one end to the other, you can see how the red flat foot here creates more tension on the belt. So I'm going to set this to the full loose side, slide this together till it clicks. There we go. And then you can see right now there's, I've got it all the way over to the right so that there's no tension on it. But if I slide it to the left, now there's full tension, and I can barely, but I can still slide this piece along the belt a little bit. So the next CG lock alternative device is this Shunwei seatbelt clip. And the way this guy works is, you have to stick a flat head or coin or something in there to pop open these two pieces together. And then you can see on the inside we have a bunch of little teeth down here. And then on this lever, which we flip down to lock the thing, you can see there are also some more teeth. So you can see that using the teeth to dig into the belt, that's how this guy secures it. When you install this arrow needs to be pointing in the direction that you pull the belt. Because if you have it in the opposite direction, so for example, if I have this pointing down at the buckle and I pull the belt through it, it'll actually pull this lever open. And well, then obviously it's not tensioning anything. So need to make sure you install this the correct way, like so. And you lock it down, and as you can see the lever is open, so we can move the tensioner. And when we want to lock it down, we move it up against the buckle here, and then flip the lever down, so that when we have the teeth on the inside and the teeth on the outside and this little lever biting into it, and you can see that it provides some tension, but obviously not great tension, because I can take this buckle and I can slowly move this up the belt. And you can also see from these marks here, those little teeth, they dig into the belt. So I don't know if this would be a very good solution for long-term daily driving, unless you like wearing your belts. But that's the first Shunwei seatbelt clip. So now we'll go on to the last device, which is the Shunwei seatbelt clip. Yep, it has the exact same name as the last one and by the exact same company. I don't know why they did that, but they did. And this guy is just a simple one lever. You can see there's a slot over here, so you can pop the lever out, and the other side does not have that slot. So you need to put the peg in there first. And just like the other Shunwei seatbelt clip, this one does have a specific installation direction, because if you install this the wrong way, which I'm going to just demonstrate here now, when you lock it down and then let's say you're putting tension on it, well look, the lever just pops up, unlocks itself, and then, well, now you don't have any more tension. And you can see here, unlike the other one which had teeth along the base plate and the lever, this one only has some teeth along the lever. So yeah, I don't know how well it'll work. But anyhow, I'll go ahead and install this the correct way. So we have this lever facing the direction of pull on the belt. And then we just close the lever to lock it. And well, let's see, the other one didn't do so well. This one does feel a little bit tighter. If I take the belt buckle, push up against it, though, you can see I can still move this going up, and it's not like a ridiculous amount of force. And once again, you can see from these scratch marks that those teeth are digging into the belt. So this is another thing you might want to think about for long-term use. This one is a lot quicker and easier to put on and off, though, so that's a plus. Okay, so now that I'm in the car and I'm buckled up, so how does the CG lock actually work? Well, what you can do is you can actually still pull the belt with the tensioner. So what you do is you just pull it until it's really nice and snug and tight, and that's it. It automatically locks. And if I try and grab the lap belt and pull on it, this has no give. It's not coming and loosening at all. So I don't need to manipulate this lever in order to tighten it, but I will need to manipulate it to loosen it. So what this does is, the Quick Fit harnesses kept my upper body secure as well, because it kept my back firmly against the seat. But all these devices that work with the 3-point, well, they can only really cinch your lap belt. But that's still a huge help. With the lap belt firmly keeping you in the seat, you still don't need to use, you know, your left foot to brace against the dead pedal for stuff. So that's how this guy works. If I wanted to loosen it, like I'm getting out of the car, well, I'd have to go over here to this little lever and press it till it digs into my side, and then I can release the tension on the belt. That's kind of one of the main complaints about this, is people don't like how you have to press this inwards and it causing it to dig into you. Personally, for me, it's not a huge issue. Okay, we're back in the car, and I've got the first device, the seatbelt extender pros, on here. So I'm going to pull my lap belt really tight, cinch myself in, slide this all the way down till it's up against the plastic buckle, and then I'm going to take this little red slider and move that over to the locked position. Yeah, I mean, it's got me pretty secure right now, so that's good. You know, it's a nice stable feeling. One thing I don't like about this is, actually let me unbuckle so I can show you a little bit better, is look how it sits compared to the buckle itself. This flat face is sitting there, so it actually is extending the belt out, and then it's got this sharp, like, 90-degree bend going around it. I think it'd be nicer if it was just kind of in line, like so, you know, like how the CG Lock does it. But I guess this one, you kind of have to put this right up against the buckle pass-through. So let me go ahead and get this back in here. So when you do cinch it up, you're going to have to rotate this so that faces against the belt buckle. So you can see I've got it rotated, and then go ahead and cinch it. Obviously you can't see the lever when you do that, so it's not as great for me to show you guys, but we'll make it work. So I've got it locked, and yeah, this one, I think it's keeping me pretty secure. You know, this is the one with that big red flat foot, so it's nice because it doesn't mar, doesn't dig into your belts. But you know, I'm wiggling around here, and it's not loosening. I don't feel this thing coming looser, so that's a really good sign for, you know, when we finally get this out to the to an actual handling course or something. I'm just going to make this even tighter and see. Yeah, you know, I'm wiggling around here. This guy's not moving. And this is, you know, one of the easier ones to undo too. You just flip that lever back, and all of a sudden now I have all the loose tension again. So the next device is the Shunwei seatbelt clip, and I'm just going to call this the small lever edition because obviously the other seatbelt clip has a much bigger lever. But anyway, small lever edition. Once again, you know, since it's kind of a flat face right over here, you kind of have to put it right up against the buckle and then rotate that 90 degrees so it faces if you want it to really seat against it. But since this one is a bit thinner than the seatbelt extender pros, we might be able to get away with just putting it up against there and then tightening it. So I'm going to put it up there, pull my lap belt really tightly, or really tight, get it up against there, and then I'm going to flip the lever with the teeth down. And let's see. Oh yeah, I'm wiggling around a little bit. I can already start to feel it pulling through. So this is already slackened up to where it was before. I mean, it's still tighter than a normal 3-point belt, but I think under high loads, you know, when you're moving around and stuff, this isn't really going to give you that stability and support you want. So you know, you can see I'm slowly pulling up on this guy, even though it's in the locked position. And actually, you can see perfectly right here. Look how much room there is, you know, between where I set this guy and the buckle now. Before, that was right up against it. So yeah, this one, I don't think it'll do that great of a job. Okay, now it's time for our last device, which is the Shunwei Big Lever Seatbelt Clip Edition. So once again, cinch my lap belt really tight. I'm gonna move this down as close as I can to the buckle, right up against it, and I'll take the big red lever and flip it down to the locked position. So right now, you know, it's definitely got me nice and tight here, but as we saw with the other time when I installed it, I don't know, this one, let's see if I can pull away from this one. Oh yep, there it goes. I can feel it slipping and pulling away. So this one did grab better than the small lever Shunwei seatbelt clip edition, but once again, you can see how much I've pulled away on the buckle right here. So, you know, this one could potentially be adequate. because I did have to exert, you know, a decent bit of force to start getting this one to pull away. But it's definitely not nearly as solid as a CG Lock or that Seatbelt Extender Pro, tension foot seatbelt tensioner. So, you know, I'll see how this one performs on the track, see if it's actually usable or not. Because I'd say this one actually has a chance, unlike the small lever version. Hey guys, so I'm at the skid pad now, and I just tried the Shunwei Big Clip, and I have to say this thing actually did keep me in the seat pretty well. You know, I was going around trying to drift. Obviously, I'm not very good at it, but yeah, this thing did a pretty good job of keeping me in the seat, and I'll try the other devices later. So I just took the Seatbelt Extender Pro's seatbelt clip tensioner out, not in this M4 on the track, but I was in an M5 competition, and this thing did a pretty decent job of holding me in the seat, maintaining the seatbelt tension. It did loosen up a little bit over time, but overall, like, it still kept me better planted than with the regular 3-point belt. So I just finished the autocross with the Shunwei seatbelt clip, or seatbelt tensioner. This thing is useless. I mean, like, before I even got going, just sitting there, it had already started to loosen up on me. So, you know, as the initial impressions I got when I first put it in the car, yeah, don't even bother with this guy. So those are a couple seatbelt tensioning devices in lieu of the now discontinued CG Lock. Are any of these really a full replacement and just as good as the CG Lock? I'm going to say absolutely not. That said, I do think that the Seatbelt Extender Pros and the Shunwei Big Lever Edition, they may be worth a try. You know, I still think that they can offer some benefit over just, you know, an unrestrained 3-point, but the Shunwei Small Lever Edition, don't even waste your time on that. All right, thanks.